Hello, in this lesson, we will learn about polylines, polygons, and rectangles in AutoCAD. We will begin with an introduction to polyline. What is a polyline? Polylines differ from lines in that they are more complex objects. A single polyline can be composed of a number of straight line or arc segments. And polylines can also be given line width to make them appear solid, just like these examples. So if polylines are so useful, why bother using ordinary lines at all? So because of their complexity, polylines use up more disk space than the equivalent line, as it is more desirable to keep file sizes as small as possible. It is a good idea to use lines rather than polylines unless you have a particular requirement. So sometimes it is easier to work with polylines for certain tasks, and at other times, lines are best. Now, what is the command for polyline? It is pline or simply just pl. When you type pline or pl, the prompt sequence will ask you to specify the start point. It will also tell you what is the current line width. Notice that as it asks for the next point, you will be given a number of options of what you can do with the polyline, such as arc, half width, length, undo, and width. Now let's just ignore these subcommands first, and let's just try to draw random lines using pline. Like in this example, simply randomly pick 5 points to create a random object. You can choose to press C to close the object or just press Escape to end the command. I will demonstrate this now on AutoCAD. Okay, now I'm going to type PL, which is the command for polyline, and enter, and it will ask me to specify the start point. I am going to just randomly click on 5 points like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna just press escape to leave the command. Now what I'm going to do now is to also recreate this similar object using the line tool instead of the polyline. So I'm going to type L, which is a shortcut for line, and enter. And then as it asks me to specify the first point, I will just click on 1 point and then randomly just do 5 more points. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and escape. Now we have 2 similar objects. The one on the left was drawn using polyline, and the one on the right was drawn using line. Now let's see if we try to click on the object. If I click the polyline, if I click anywhere on it, I click here for example, click on it, it will automatically choose or ignores the blue lines or blue points on the whole object. While if I click on the line object, if I click on one of the lines, see I can individually click on different line segments. Now this is important to take note that the difference between polyline and a line. Okay? So a line is simply just separate lines that is not joined together, while a polyline are actually 2 or more lines that are connected or joined together to form one single entity. Now, what if I have drawn a polyline like this and I want to delete one of the lines? Can I convert this into line? Not a problem. You can explode these lines back into single lines using the explode tool. I will demonstrate now how to explode the polyline into lines. I just simply type explode, Explode, and enter. And then it will ask me to select the object or the polyline that I would like to explode. Now I will click on this polyline, and then it will say select objects, one found. One object have been found. Now what I do next is just enter, and that is all I have to do. Now let's try and click on this object again, and you will see now that it has converted into individual lines. So that is how you convert polylines back into lines. So that is how you use explode to convert polyline into individual lines. Now let's try to use the first option that is available when using polyline, which is arc. Here is an example where you create an open four-sided polygon using P-line and closing it with an arc. After you type A for arc and enter, you will see an elastic arc appear which you can stretch. Remember to use O-snap to click on the endpoint of a line. So finally, just simply press enter to terminate the command loop. Let me now demonstrate on AutoCAD. Okay, quickly now, start by typing PL for polyline and enter, and then I am going to specify the start point, which is just a random point. I'm making an open polygon, just lines like that, and then from here on, when I'm asked to specify the next point, I will choose A. I type in A for arc and enter, and then now if I move my cursor, you can see that it is now stretchable like that, elastic. And what I do is I have my O snap on. I would just snap on the first point there like that, click, and I'm done. I can go on and on, but I'm gonna just end there and just press escape. And there I have my polyline, which consists of lines and arc. The second option in the polyline tool is close. I'm sure all of you are well versed in using this already, so therefore I'm going to skip this example in this video and move on to the next example. Example 4 is using the subcommand width to create a line that looks like this one here shown at the bottom of this slide. Now take note that when polylines are drawn with different width, they are usually filled by default. So to remove this filled color, the fill command can be turned off. So how to do this is you type in FILL, fill, and enter, and then you simply just press or type off and enter. You won't see anything. At this point, you will have to regenerate by typing RE and then enter, and then the screen will regenerate the polylines to be unfilled, and you will see a skeleton of the drawing that you have drawn. I'm going to demonstrate how to create a tapered polyline that has a starting width of 10 units and ends with the width of 60 units. So I start by typing in PL for polyline and enter, and now it's asking me to specify the start point. Let's say that I'm going to just click anywhere up here, and now the prompt sequence is asking me to specify the next point, or I have an options arc, half width, length, undo, and width. So since I want to change the width, so therefore I will type W for width and enter. And now it's asking me to specify the starting width. I want my polyline to start with a width of 10, so therefore I type 10 and enter. And now the prompt sequence is asking me to specify the ending width. My ending width, I want it to be 60, so therefore I type 60 and enter. So now it is asking me to specify the next point. I can move my cursor and you can see that the width of my polyline has changed. So I can just click anywhere I want. Let's say there. And I can go on and on. You can see now the width that we have selected is 60. So no, wherever we go is always 60. Let's say that I want to reduce the width again. All I have to do is just type W and enter, and then it will ask me to specify the starting width. I see the starting width is still 60, so if I will just accept and press enter, and then it will ask me to specify the ending width. Let's say I want the ending width to be back to 10. I type 10 and enter, and now I can move my cursor and see that I have a smaller width like that. Okay, say I'm done, I can just escape to stop the command, and that is the polyline that I have created using different values of width. Now, by default, AutoCAD will always fill your drawing with this white color. You can turn off this the fill in the drawing by typing FILL and enter. You will see that by default it is on a on mode. So you just type off, or just click on off if you want it to be turned off. OFF and enter. Now the fill mode is off, but as you can see, you don't see any difference yet. You will have to regenerate your drawing, so therefore you type RE to regen and enter, and there you have your drawing, or the skeleton of your drawing, without it being filled in. Polylines can be edited after they are created. For example, to change the width, you can do this by using the pedit command. You can draw your object using lines and arcs, and then you can convert it to the polyline using the polyline edit command. You can convert polylines and polyarcs back to lines and arcs using the explode command that we have learned before. Because sometimes it is easier for beginner drafters to create the geometry using standard lines and arcs, and then convert it into polylines and polyarcs using the pedit join option. So to change a regular line to a polyline, you simply just use pedit command. And pedit can also be used to modify the width to an existing polylines and also to append any geometry. And the command for pedit is just simply PE or pedit. Now here is the command list to convert individual lines and arcs into a polyline. Now let me show you how to do this. Now to quickly demonstrate, remember we already have this drawing right here. This is a polyline. I know this by clicking on the object, and it selected the whole thing as one. Okay, escape again. Let me first explode this polyline to convert it into individual lines. So I type in explode, 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 and enter. I click on my polyline, and it will say that it has found one object, and I just simply enter. Now see that it has lost all of the previous polyline information. Now it has become individual lines. Alright, now let's convert these individual lines back into polyline by using the pedit tool. I type in PEDIT, or just PE, and enter. And it will ask me to select the polyline or multiple. Right now, I select multiple lines, type in M, and enter. And now it's asking me to select the objects that I want to convert to polyline. I can do this. I can just select all the lines and it will say that it has found 5 objects, which is true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I enter. It will ask me to convert line, arcs, and splines to polyline. Yes or no? Yes, I want to convert it to polyline. So therefore Y and enter. Now I enter an option. I have a list of options: close, open, join, width, fit, spline, decurve, L-type, gen, reverse, undo. I type in J to join and press enter. And then it will ask me to enter the first distance or join type. I just press 0. Just accept it as 0. And then I'm done. I can just escape from the command. And if I click on it, you will see that it is now a polyline. The next tool is the rectangle tool. Now, one way of drawing a rectangle on AutoCAD is by drawing 4 lines using the line tool. However, there is a faster and easier way to do this, which is to use the rectangle tool. The rectangle drawn using this tool is actually a polyline. So therefore, it is more flexible and can be drawn with various width, chamfered, and fillet corners. To draw a rectangle, simply type in REC, or you can spell it out all the way, rectangle, RECTANGLE, and enter. You then only need to specify or click on 2 points to get a rectangle, like in this example down here. You type in REC, you enter, and it will ask you to specify the first corner point. You just pick 1 point and then specify another corner point and pick another point, and there you have your rectangle. Now I would like you to try and do these 4 rectangle exercises. The details are in my slides on Padlet. The next tool is the Polygon tool. The Polygon command can be used to draw any regular polygon from 3 sides up to 1024 sides. This command requires inputs from the user. You need to enter the number of sides, a pick point for the center of the polygon, and then whether you want the polygon to be inscribed or circumscribed. And then you pick a point, which determines both the radius of this imaginary circle and the orientation of the polygon. The Polygon command creates a closed polyline in the shape of a required polygon. Here's an example of drawing a 5-sided polygon. You type in POLYGON and enter. It will ask you to specify the number of sides. If you want to draw a 5-sided polygon, then you type 5 and enter. And then it will ask you to specify the center of the polygon or edge. So right now you can just pick a point, let's say point P1. Or if you want to specify the edge, you can type E to define your polygon by the length of the edge. And then next, it will ask you to enter an option, whether you want it to be inscribed in a circle or circumscribed. About a circle, let's say that if I type I for inscribe, you can see down here, this is what it means. The polygon is inscribed inside an imaginary circle. If I choose circumscribe or type C, that means that the polygon is located outside of the imaginary circle. Once I have entered whether I want it to be circumscribed or inscribed inside a circle, it will now ask me to specify the radius of the circle. I can put in a number, any number for the radius of the circle, or simply right now you can just pick any points. Let's say just pick point P2 and my polygon is done. Now the third figure here shows an example of polygon that is drawn using the edge command. This one, edge, if I type in E. And this is when if I have enough information, for example, I have information of the length of one side of the polygon, then I would choose to use this option. And that is all. Our next topic will be multi-line ellipse and donuts.